I think he asked Big Bill Brunzi. He says, Big Bill, that blues music you play, is that, you call that folk music? And Big Bill says, well, I've never heard no horses sing none of it. I told you not to mention wild folk dancing.
By myself, can't you hear me talking to you? I ain't going down that big road by myself. If I can't take your mama, I'm gonna find somebody else. Look yonder, who that coming down the road? Can't you hear me talking to you? Who that yonder coming down the road? It look like Maddie, I swear she walks so slow. That mandolin. Going down that big road by myself. Can't you hear me talking to you? I ain't going down that big road by myself. If I can't take you, mama, I'm gonna take somebody else. Ooh, well, that was the Big Road Blues, which I stole off a record by K.C. Douglas.
I knew it.
You knew it. And the fellow who knew it, this is Andy Goessling. I'm Ralph Litwin, and this is Lou Gelfond. We're here on Horses Sing None of It once again.
Playing some music for you, having a good time like always.
And Andy is our guest for today, and he's well known for performing on the saxophone in this area with the Blue Sparks, which is a band that's been traveling up and down the East Coast for how many years, Andy?
Well, it's been 12 years so far, and
only 12
12.
That's a long
no
time.
end in sight at this point.
And you can see them at the Stanhope House in Stanhope, New Jersey on a fairly regular basis. And Andy, though, is also a master of many other instruments. I know Andy for a long time, ever since probably 1966 or thereabouts is when we first ran into each other. Does that sound about right, Andy?
Ralph marched in the Brookside 4th of July parade with us.
Is that right? I don't remember that.
Don't worry, we'll bring parts of your life back. So you can
Who was in that band marching in the 4th of July
It's
parade?
actually Scott Gress had put a a roller on the bottom of his string bass so we could march down the street. You, C.T. Tucker, and I. And we got down the street just in time so the Maw's float didn't run us down.
And Andy was, at that time, I remember him primarily as a fantastic mandolin player. I was always really impressed with his mandolin playing. And when did you take up the saxophone?
Actually, I started sax at the same time as mandolin in grade school. It's just that I played the mandolin more in public. I played the saxophone, in school band, but I met more people playing this. I think things have come full circle at this point since I'm here with the mandolin again. It's been 16 years or something. I thought Lou and I could do a duet on St. Anne's Reel. Stopped in mid-stroke. Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, Andy brought down all kinds of other instruments, I think, here, didn't you, Andy?
Yeah, well, as long as I'm on the mandolin, I guess I'll stick with this for now. But another style of mandolin playing I always worked on was, besides playing the bluegrass stuff like we were just doing, I always try to do just a solo style. It was a little fuller. Instead of a melody line, you do the accompaniment at the same time. And this is a song that I wrote, which I really don't have a name for, so for a better word, I'll just call it a mandolin fantasy at this point.
pretty.
Oh, thank you. That's a pleasure to sit back. Now I know why we have guests on the show. It's just have a great time. You sit here and go, wow, you know, have your own living room regularly here. Okay, it's great.
Now that's, are you going to play something for us on the zither?
Yeah, I've actually got a clip coming up of a few more of these instruments. Ralph came over to the house and showed him the entire array of zithers, but I'll give you a simple explanation of this one here. It's a little dusty, but this is this is actually pretty new from the 1950s, but the instrument was developed in about the 1840s. It started out as really a simple instrument, maybe about 10 strings, but grew into what they call a concert zither. But what you have is you have a 5-string fingerboard with frets used for the melody, and you play that with a thumb pick. And then the harp section is the accompaniment section. You've got 12 strings that are treble and 12 that are bass, and then however many of the contrabasses you want to put on there. And it started out as really a simple instrument like a dulcimer, you know, really simple boxes, and got to be very complicated sound boxes. This is a double sound box for volume and sound posts. And it's generally a German instrument, and you don't really hear it played that much. I think it kind of died with the age of sitting home on long winter nights with nothing else to do but learn complicated instruments. But I'd like to start out with a tune called Faithless Love.
That's interesting how the, I don't know if the camera can come in and see, but the frets on here are raised way up, unlike the other stringed fretted instruments we've been playing here. And that vibrato that you're getting there is...
Yeah, it gives you the vibrato, and it also gives you, I mean, the Germans really, you know, well, the zither's known for is, you know, the song everybody knows is the third man theme. But the vibrato they use is just so extreme after a while. the cafe style. I mean, I guess like I'm the American style. But
That picking reminds me a little bit of steel or dobro.
yeah, it's like kind of like a pedal steel. You have to be that organized. You really have to know where you're going. I'd like to try another song that I actually wrote on the zither. It's one of the first songs that I wrote for it that I call Eric Satie's Dream. I named it that because he was a French Impressionist piano player, and the song is kind of similar to what a song he would write.
Pretty sounding instrument.
Reminds me sometimes of a hammered dulcimer. It has so many strings and they're like piano, lined and tuned.
Actually, the interesting thing, one of the interesting things about it is for having this many strings, it's really simple to understand. Like this is tuned in a, these aren't randomly thrown in here. This is a continuous pattern, and once you learn the fingering for one chord, I mean, you can almost hear it. I mean, it sounds really strange, but what it does by not having a scale is it makes it so you can get the chords next to each other. So if you hit two strings next to each other, and then with your middle finger, you get the major chord, or you can hit the two and move it to the minor. And then down here, you have your bass. So, but once you learn the fingering for one major chord, they're all the same. It's just really a matter of learning the reach after that. What you do really need are these. You might be able to see that some of these strings are different colors, and harps are the same way. They have different colors. If you don't have that, you're lost. That's all there is to it.
Well, I just want to mention that 100 and Folk Exchange I'm with, or member of, and on the board of, is running workshops, and we're getting people like you. We haven't talked about doing a workshop in zither, but it could happen. We're doing workshops, for instance, in hammer dulcimer, and people want to find out about hammer dulcimer workshops or fiddle workshops. Again, there'll be on the end of the show there'll be a phone number, and and an address, and you can call right this station and find out about some folk music workshops, including some dance workshops, Western swing and the like. Just wanted to throw that plug in for the HFE. We're doing that.
I think it'd be a geometric thing. I mean, if more people, if there's more people around playing and people could see it, they'd want to learn how to play. There's just, you never see anybody doing it anymore. So it's a great instrument because you can accompany yourself on guitar, mandolin. You always need another person to accompany you.
And if you sit down at a festival and you break this out and play a couple tunes, people are just, they feel that the angels have arrived. It's good.
Well, I guess it's about the strangest part. Here is a German instrument, and you can do, Irish songs on it. That's what I end up doing mostly, is playing Irish music, like waltzes. I think this is called "Give Me Your Hand."
Are these 5 strings tuned like any other instrument that we're familiar with?
Actually, yeah, these are basically tuned like either a mandola or a tenor banjo. They're in fifths like a mandolin, but there's a double string. Maybe this is where the dulcimer got it. But what this is for on this instrument is to get if you need to do a fast trill or. You can just keep picking across and do things that are... I know somewhere, the dulcimer is really just a simplified version of this. It's just the only one that survived, I guess.
Now would probably be a good opportunity for us to go take a look at the rest of your collection of zithers and some other instruments. Andy has a very large collection of instruments at his house, and earlier today I took a camera out there and we took a look at a small portion of your collection, I think, yeah. And I had to edit down the amount that we shot. He's got a couple of rooms full of different cases of all kinds of things, and we picked out some of the most interesting ones, and we'll take a look at that right now, and then we'll come back.
Well, I figure I could save you people a lot of time who go out antiquing by just putting everything you're going to find at an antique store in one house. You can identify it for you. Because the biggest question is always, what is it? So some of the more common string instruments in the zither family that you usually see laying around these stores. This is a family of guitar zithers. From the simplest, you have a Regent zither with 3 chords for accompanying.
Well, we're sorry, that's all we have time for, but just one more little tune here. And out we go. Talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. If you can't say anything real nice, it's better not to talk at all, that's my advice. Oh, honey, you go your way, I'll go mine. It's best that we do.
For the amateur, you start putting gizmos on the top like mandolin zithers. Now we have one of the classic antique store instruments, And everybody thinks that they found the only one of, but really there's a couple 100,000 out there. The ukulele.
Horses Sing None of It is sponsored by Banjo Man Entertainment, 201-538-2432. The booking agency for Ralph Litwin, Lou Gelfond, and many others. Banjo Man Entertainment, 201-538-2432. For free membership in the Horses Sing None of It fan club, send your name and address to Horses Fan Club, care of Ralph Litwin, 140 Morris Street, Morristown, New Jersey, 07960. That's Horses Fan Club, care of Ralph Litwin, 140 Morris Street, Morristown, New Jersey, 07960.
And when they were so popular, everybody decided they had to have every variant made. They actually came up with a bowed zither, more or less a bowed dulcimer. It didn't last too long with the public for some reason. We haven't figured that out yet. But even in its own time, it wasn't very popular. And then the actual touring performers use instruments like these, which is what you call a standard concert zither, with two forms of that, which is just a regular side, and then they call a harp zither. They actually put more or less a Grecian harp style on it. The one thing interesting about this zither here is actually, for me, this is the first instrument I ever owned that started this whole thing, this whole collection. After searching this many stores for this many instruments, every 50 instruments or so you might come on something truly rare, which I found this at a flea market in Charleston, South Carolina, and when I cleaned it up I found out it was a true Western African harp. That when I first got it I thought it was a tourist instrument, but after restoring it, it actually is a true instrument. If you get into the actual true antiquities, these are instruments I found at an archaeologist, from an archaeologist in Key West, Florida, that was doing pre-Columbian digs in Peru. They're actually Peruvian bone flutes from about maybe the 1400s.
Wow.
Made out of llama bones.
Have you figured out how to play them?
Yeah, actually that was the most amazing thing, was that for being buried that long, they still actually work really well.
Right. Boy, they don't make things like they used to.
Well, you can make them like you used to, because I found some old deer bones on the property, and I copied one of these old Peruvian flutes, and here's the modern version here. Then Far Hills. So you still can make them like I used to if you want. This is what they call a 1930 Gibson trapdoor banjo, because the sound was unbelievably improved when you open this little door here.
Well, we're sorry, that's all we have time for, but just one more little tune here, and out we go. Don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. If you can't say anything real nice, it's better not to talk at all, that's my advice. Oh, honey, you go your way, I'll go mine, it's best that we do. Here's a kiss, I hope that this brings lots of luck to you. Oh, honey, it makes no difference how I carry on. Oh, honey. don't talk.